Good morning, everyone. This is Faith at Faith and Books. I'm wearing my shades. I just had my second cataract surgery yesterday morning, but this eye is already at 20/20. I just got back from the doctors. But the first eye that I did a couple weeks ago is not so good. It's 20/40 and it's still kind of irritated, and they think I might be forming a little bit of scar tissue. So that one, they say they'll give it a few more weeks before they start worrying, because it can take up to a month for it to heal. Anyway, so I am out here on my porch, and it is so muggy out. We've had so much rain. My garden is just rotting. We have so much rain. When I walk through the garden, the ground like oozes. It's just, and they told us this week we were going to have 4 days of high temperatures and sunshine, and it never got as hot as they said, which I'm not complaining about that, but it has rained the last 2 days, like really rained. So I'm sorry to people who are having droughts, but it's not good to have too much either, too much rain either. Anyway, with droughts, maybe you can water. What do you do if it's gonna, if there's gonna be torrential rains every evening? Anyway, I was just gonna give you an update. So the first thing I really wanted to talk about was Alan at the Lonely Bookshelf. I can't remember what his channel was called before. It was his last name, Alan somebody or another. He had a small channel. I don't know how I got connected with his particular channel. And then he got upset because people weren't leaving comments, weren't visiting him. So he retitled it The Lonely Bookshelf. And Alan had issues. He was a quirky guy. I don't think he had an easy life. Probably wasn't to everybody's taste, but I really appreciated him. And I liked his selection of books. I liked his comments. I liked his perspective. And I thought he was an interesting person. He lived in Texas. Anyway, I sort of fell off the booktube, over the cliff, and wasn't keeping up with my channels. I was following him on Instagram, but on Instagram it was all about exercising, and I wasn't really interested in that. But when I came back to YouTube, when I tried to start getting back into watching booktube, I didn't see anything by him, and so I looked, and am I crazy? But when I look it up, it says Alan had a stroke and died in the hospital. So, and there's no more Lonely Bookshelf. So I'm assuming he passed away. And that really, that was upsetting. And, I'm praying for him. I'm pretty sure he was a believer. I'm praying for the repose of his soul. I'm praying he's resting in peace, that he has all the books he wants to read now. So that was kind of shocking, and I was really sad for a few days. I walked around kind of like trying to process it, because he recommended a book when we were reading. He was in a group that we were reading the Brothers Karamazov together, and he recommended a book, and it was about incarnational realism, or something. It was like deep theology, and I read it. And it was so profound. And I got that recommendation from him. And I know I got other recommendations, or at least ideas from him. And he also, I remember one time he really had a thing for Russia. He was very interested in Russia. And he read a book on Stalingrad. I remember he sobbed when he was talking about how terrible it was at Stalingrad. I never think about Stalingrad. It really brought home to me, that terrible things happen, and they're just outside of, they're not on my radar. I don't really think about them. But he was really moved by it. So anyway, I'm mourning the passing of Alan of the Lonely Bookshelf, and I was thinking about BookTube and how it makes this sort of internet neighborhood. And he was like my neighbor. I would check in with him, and chat with him about something we had in common. And you feel like you really know people because you watch their BookTube channels, and then suddenly they're gone. So anyway, I just wanted to acknowledge the passing of Alan. I'm assuming he passed. If I'm wrong, if this is a joke, then then I'm glad. But I don't see his channel, and I see that somebody wrote that he had passed away. So I think he's been gone for a few months now. So anyway, so that's one thing I wanted to talk about. Let me get a sip of water here. I feel very shiny. It's really muggy out. Anyway, then I thought I would give an update. I haven't been reading. I still haven't. I mean, I've been reading, but not. Still really slowly. And because this eye didn't heal as fast, and hopefully with this one I'll really be able to read. But I'm still working through false colors, still finding it charming. But last night I spilled tea on it. I'm very sad. But anyway, this is good, and I will finally get through it, and I will do a review. And I forgot to mention last time that I started a new Kindle read. It's called Travels with George by Nathaniel Philbrick or something like that. Not quite sure if I got that right. But anyway, he's apparently a popular history writer, and he's, I think I heard about this from Bill Rutenberg. And I think it was on sale on Kindle with my Gorilla Books. So that's how I got it, because I had heard about it from Bill Rutenberg. Anyway, it's very interesting. I'm enjoying it very much. I like the historical bits. The more modern things that he talks about are kind of, nothing to write home about. But, well, he did. But anyway, I'm enjoying it. So that's the other book that I'm also reading. And then last Saturday, I did meet with our little group that's reading The City of God, and we figured out how we're going to finish the book up by the end of the year, and I feel good about that. I feel like when I heal up a little bit more, I can really dive in and start reading again. So I'm excited about that. And then I have news. I think that I'm going to start a new channel, and I'm going to call it, because this channel is Faith and Books, I'm going to call my new channel, oh, there's a plane going over, Grandma Faith Reads Aloud, and I think I'm going to read children's books aloud. Now I'm hoping that there's no copyright thing. I'm not intending to make any money whatsoever off of this. But I just think it would be nice to have some wholesome content out there. And I had another channel called Catholic Unschooling Coach, which, I haven't done anything with that for a year, and I had trouble uploading to it. I really constantly had trouble uploading. So I might have to work on this new channel to see if I can upload consistently. But my oldest daughter is going to help me. So she's coming over next week, and we're going to set up a website, because she's thought that it would be good to have files that people could download, because not everybody wants their kids to go on YouTube. But we'd have a YouTube channel, and then we'd also have a website where you could get files. And she's in all these groups with young Catholic moms, and they're often complaining about that they don't have enough good content for this. Will be sort of faith themed, so it'll be touching on, belief, Catholicism, Christianity, also just good manners or how to be a kind person, that sort of thing. So that's the kind of content I'm intending on creating. So I'm excited about that, but I'm going to take my time and figure out the best way to do it and how I'm going to film and all that sort of thing. So that's other news. And then the last thing I want to talk about real quick is what I've been watching. So since I haven't been reading very well, I've been watching a lot more. So on the last day of July, the end of Sustainability July, I watched the movie Sustainable, which came out in 2016, and I liked it a lot. I recommend it. It was about regenerative farming in the Midwest, mostly around Chicago, and then a few other places, but mostly it was focused on a farmer named Marty Travis and his son, and what they had been doing and how they connected with this whole community of chefs in Chicago that wanted to create menus with local foods and more, organic foods, and just, the people that were all in that kind of network, activists, farmers, bakers, chefs, that sort of thing. It was a good movie. It was very hopeful. So I liked it. It kind of reminded me of the Biggest Little Farm, which is set in California. See, I'm in Virginia, so here Joel Salatin is like the huge name. I think he is pretty internationally known for regenerative farming and the local movement. But there are, it's a local thing. So there's, their own people in the Midwest that are working on this, and there are own people out in California that are working on this. So it's really hopeful to know that, to realize that. So I enjoyed that movie. And then my husband wanted to watch a version of Hamlet because he has a partner that he found out his favorite play is Hamlet, and he's seen it like over 20 times, like 20 different productions. So we decided to watch the David Tennant Hamlet, and it took us a few nights to watch it because I cannot stay up late and watch. We would fall asleep. So I think it took us about 4 nights to watch it. But it was excellent. It was really excellent. David Tennant, I think he overacted a tiny bit, which maybe because he was, the ambivalence in Hamlet is he actually crazy? They sort of played it like he was. Or is he pretending to be crazy? It was well done. I thought it was a really well done version. There were a couple of things they didn't have to do. I think it was kind of odd. They had it sort of set maybe during World War II. And so they would, be like you'd be looking through a gun, what do you call it, thing where you aim, whatever that thing is that you look through to aim. Or like a security camera was watching you, which sort of fed into the paranoia and the strain, the atmosphere of the castle. I appreciated that they didn't play up so much the sort of, Oedipus Rex syndrome. Some versions of Hamlet really do that. And what else? Oh, the other thing, though, that I found irritating was since they were going with this sort of World War II thing, but then David Tennant would just be walking, or Hamlet would be just walking around with blue jeans and a t-shirt, which did not fit. So that was annoying. I wish they had just made a decision and stuck with it. So I thought it was a pretty good version. They did cut out a couple of things, like the ending they cut out, which I didn't understand why. But for the most part, I 2 thumbs up. Watch David Tennant's Hamlet. It's good. And then what was the other thing that we've been watching lately? Oh yeah, and we're continuing to watch Jeremy Brett's Sherlock Holmes. So I never really cared for Sherlock Holmes. I liked the Hound of the Baskervilles. My mother took us to see that in the movie theater. It was like a repertoire theater, and it was coming around. We went and saw the one with Basil Rathbone, and I remember really liking that because that was spooky. And I've read that at least a couple times. But when I would go to read the short stories, I didn't like the character of Sherlock Holmes. I didn't like him as a person. I found him cold and weird, and he didn't appeal to me. And I'm not, I guess, into mysteries enough to bypass that. And, Poirot kind of bugs me a little bit, too. He's kind of based on Sherlock Holmes. So anyway, so I know that's just sort of blasphemy, but yeah, I'm not a big fan. But I really like Jeremy Brett's portrayal. This is a fun series, and I'm enjoying it. I know, it came out in the 80s or 90s or something, and I'm just watching it now. But I do really like it, and my husband and I have been watching that lately. And then yesterday, when I was recuperating from this operation, the actual operation went really, really quickly and easy. And my eye is almost completely healed today. But I think I had a reaction to the anesthesia because I had a headache and I was so queasy all day. And I literally spent the entire day in bed. And so I listened a lot. Oh, that's the other thing I wanted to say. I listened a lot to Phineas Redux by Anthony Trollope. And I think I'm up to chapter 15. So I listened a lot to that. And then I also found a free Miss Marple movie, or I think it was a series, on YouTube. So if you Google Miss Marple free YouTube or something like that, it'll come up. And I think it's the most recent rendition of her from like BBC. And so I watched one of those episodes, and that was really enjoyable. So it had the guy who plays Willoughby, who's now with Emma Thompson, whatever that actor's name is, Willoughby in the old Emma Thompson Sensibility. It had that actor in it. Anyway, so I might watch another episode today. That was pretty cool. I enjoyed that very much. So yeah, so that's what I've been watching, and that's what I've been reading. Those are my new project, and Alan, rest in peace. So I will talk to you later. Bye-bye. Happy reading.